Hi, everyone, and welcome to Hexodus. I'm Persephone,
And I'm Jenny.
and today we're going to start part three of our series about our faith histories. So, part three is about reclamation. And so, we're going to talk about our process of reclamation and what that meant for each of us. So, how are you doing, Jenny? This has been quite a series for us.
Yes, it has. I am definitely feeling a lot of energy shift. I feel like this is kicking off some big healing for both of us, just owning our histories and giving a voice to our histories, and letting those stories be told. I think they're stories that need to be told. While they're hard to tell, it feels good to release that though and send that out there.
Yes,
How are you
agreed.
doing, Persephone?
Same. I'm feeling like a little tired because it's like a lot to say all of this stuff. We're recording this series in one night. So we're just kind of plowing through and discussing between recording and just having a big healing night doing this. And I'm tired, but like it's beautiful. It's been a beautiful experience. So, yes. And
Yes, it
so
has.
shall we draw cards for the episode?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. I'm using the Aquarian Tarot deck.
Oh,
So
how
it's just like
fun.
just a beautiful deck I found. I think it's looks like from the 60s or something. I'm not sure the history of it, but I love it. Okay,
That's
so
really pretty.
oh,
I
oh
can't
my
wait to see what you've
goodness.
got.
Oh shit. Okay.
All right.
Hey then. Oh my god, this could not be more accurate. Okay, that was not what I was expecting though. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I drew four cards. This definitely has to do with my own personal reclamation. And I guess I'll just have to tell you the story after we do cards. But I got the 10 of swords, the 7 of rods, the reverse 7 of rods, and the reverse devil. So,
Ooh.
yeah, like the end of the things that were hurting me and harming me, like the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
And the result is this card, and it's the 6 of wands, the card of like public victory. So not just like healing yourself and going about your merry way, but like healing yourself in a way that people are like, damn, like how did you do that? Like that's amazing. Let's celebrate with you. That is like definitely mic drop, definitely accurate, but whew, a little
Dang,
heavy.
that
Yeah.
is, I can feel that. That's intense.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, let's shift gears. I feel like my deck might be a little gentler
Okay, good.
for us. I'm using my Journey of Love deck. This is just some really lovely messages. Persephone and I were playing cards before this, and the messages are just really profound, but just really, really sweet and what we needed to hear. So I'm gonna pull a couple cards here. Let's see, that one's calling to me. Oh, and that one is coming out too. um, okay, so one that I pulled is Shifting Universes. This is one of the
Oh.
cards. This card jumped for me when I was pulling it for Persephone and me. And so I love that it's coming up again. And I feel like this just resonates so much that I feel like through this podcast and sharing our stories and our voices, we are
Mhm.
shifting universes, not only our own universe, but for those of you that need to hear these messages and
Mhm.
that can learn and heal and find your own path and strength
Yep, it's for
through
you
our
that are
words.
watching. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I feel like this is very much for everyone here. So I love that made an appearance again tonight. And then the other one that came up was Heart of God.
Whoa.
I think that card is just so pretty. And like in that is a beautiful card. Wow. Um, our last episode talking about God and these kind of universal energy that connects us all. Like I feel like what Persephone was saying last time is like we are all God. You know, the bed is God, the bed that I'm sitting on is God. Her couch is God, like everything is God, but we all have that heart of God in us, and it's it's there if we want to embrace it.
Mhm. I feel
Mm.
like we are it.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
Yes.
amazing and beautiful and empowering. I can't believe we got
Yeah,
that universe shift one again too. That's
I
amazing.
know. Me too. I think there's like 70, there's 70 cards in this deck. Um, and yeah, came up
Whoa,
twice. That is amazing.
dang. That
Whew.
is really cool. I feel like it's just very big healing, just very big. So
Yeah.
I hope whoever's watching this, I hope that you have a beautiful experience with it and feel good. And also, like anyone here, feel free to comment about your experiences with this, what you would like us to talk about and stuff too. Just would love to hear from you and just how these things impact you. So,
Yes.
hey, so I guess we are going to start talking about reclamation. So we started with our restless slumber where we were like in lives that maybe did not fit us, but it was the best we could do and the best we knew and all that.
That
And
was our
then
act one. Yep.
and then act two was the awakening where we had catalyst moments and everything started shifting. Pandora's box opened. We started doing the deep work and everything started like dismantling in many ways or building up in ways that it hasn't before. I would say it's like the middle act where everything's just in gear, in flux,
Yep.
you know?
Coming up to that. Well, and I don't want to say final act, but the third act, because I
Mhm.
feel like this third act will not be the final act. This is
Nope.
just another act in the journey.
Yep. And I don't know how many acts we'll have. So probably many. Yeah.
Yep.
And so this third act, reclamation, we picked this word because it feels like in this part, a lot of things are kind of being set right, like maybe how they should have been before, and they weren't, and they are now, or just like started to reclaim ourselves, our lives, our thoughts, our hearts, our
Our
gifts and
power.
talents. Yes, yes, basically our power, our freedom, all of that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like
There's
oh, go on.
oh no, I should say there is so many aspects that I feel like that I have needed to reclaim throughout my life. And it is
Yes.
such a journey.
Mhm.
It's hard,
Yeah.
but it is so worth it when you start learning how to reclaim your power and you realize that it is okay to reclaim that power and that like just reclaim yourself.
Yes. And it's not only okay, you should do it. It's like
Yeah.
it'll make you, it's the only way you're gonna ever be happy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Reclaim your heart of God.
Yeah. That's right. Whatever you think God is, like reclaim that part of yourself and that heart of God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So, Persephone, are you going to start us off with your reclamation story?
yes. I feel like my reclamation story, it's gonna start out a little heavy, but it's good. So I feel like the dysfunction for me in the church was like around kind of like abuse energy, like narcissism energy and stuff that was in my past. So like I grew up with a narcissist dynamic in the house and ended up having an unhealthy marriage for many years and then getting in another long-term relationship too that I didn't know was unhealthy until it ended. But I feel like for me, the reclamation started when the abuse ended and like when all the aspects of life that had abuse in it for me were done. And that happened when my fiance passed away 3 years ago last month. And so I was in a relationship. I lived in Atlanta with him. We were together for 5 years, 6 years, whatever. And I was just so happy. Like I just loved my Atlanta life. I was in love with my Atlanta life. It was just like it was my first time moving a place without the church, the first time moving a place where I wasn't a Mormon, like moving out of state at least, where I wasn't a Mormon and so I got to just like start from scratch and like my partner was an author too and so we would just like live this life of being writers together and like I was just very happy in that life.
Yeah.
And one night he was up with insomnia and I woke up in the morning. I'm like, that's weird. He didn't come to bed. That's never happened. And like I went out and I found out he just died on the
Oh,
sofa in the middle of the night. And it was like,
oh, that's devastating.
yeah. And so sorry guys, trigger warning about that. I should maybe say that. But
Mm.
yeah, it was really definitely the worst moment of my life for sure, followed by a bunch of pretty equal bad moments.
Yeah.
Um, I pretty much denounced the universe as soon as I realized he wasn't sleeping and the reality of the situation. I I was like, okay, just fuck you, universe. Like, how dare you? Like, I already went through divorce, I went through phase shift, I went through everything. Like, how dare you do this to me? I was,
Yeah.
um, and then that night I stayed at his sister's house. And I finally figured out how to get into his phone so I could call his doctor and call his work and you know what I mean, and just start taking
Yeah.
care of all the stuff. And I found out as soon as I got his phone open that he had been having an affair the whole time and was a pedophile.
Oh my God.
I know. And so we might have to put a trigger warning on this one. Sorry, it's big, but
Yeah.
um and I realized like, oh, like I would have stayed in this relationship for decades and just thought I was happy. I like made a lucky escape on accident that I would have never asked for or wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that is so huge.
So yeah, and I also you know, in my past too, all of the dysfunction with the church and stuff was tied into feeling unsupported, and like the church filled a need for me where I felt supported, and
Yeah.
but when he passed away, like my whole family and friends and community and everybody rallied around. Like my Mormon friends rallied around. My
Mm.
ex-husband donated money to I mean, like everybody rallied around me. And I have never felt supported like that in my whole life. And it just changed me. Like it just
Yeah.
changed me. And so I, he was half my income and so I couldn't support myself on my own. And so I moved to Texas with my high school best friend. They had a spare room in their house. So I just started over
Mhm.
in their spare room at 48 years old. And it was
Yeah.
like, that was definitely the hardest thing I've ever been through. Definitely. Um, but I feel like that's when my reclamation started because I was no longer in that abuse cycle at all. And
Yeah.
so that's when I started piecing my life back together. And you know, I don't know, it's like I know it's all heavy and stuff, but like my best friend who was with me at the time through a lot of it. A couple days after he died, she and I were taking a walk, and she does this energy work too. And I was like, every time I draw cards about what the next chapter of my life is, it's like dating, dating, dating. I'm supposed to have like
Oof.
relationships and stuff, and I'm like, I can't even like, I don't even want to think like I can't even go there, you know. And then we
Yeah.
just started like joking, and we're just like, I would be the worst first date in the history of first dates. Like, so I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm crying a little. I just, got back from his funeral. I got these shoes for the funeral. I'm like, yeah, and then
Yeah.
like, it's like I thought it was so great, but I'd been in a cult, so how did I know? And it's just like everything in my life sounded so problematic. And I was
Like,
like,
here's my baggage. Want to help?
yeah, exactly. So I was like, I knew that the cards were right, that like when it was time, I was gonna have to start like doing that and like learning about myself and dating again and all that stuff. But like I was like, I just like wish the cards would save that information for at least 6 more months or a year or something. But that is
Yeah.
when I started living my good life. It was you know, hard, the hardest thing ever, but things just started like falling in place for me and tumbling in place. And just like all these beautiful things started happening, just meeting new friends and having good community. And Houston weirdly works for me here. And I just like
Yeah.
started loving it here. And just like, I don't know, just a lot of things have been right for me here. And it is true, I did start dating and I've dated a fair amount since I've been here. And it honestly is like part of my healing journey too. But like it's crazy that reclamation for me is just like living a regular person's life.
Yeah, well, and
Like,
that is so
yeah,
powerful though, like just
yeah,
reclaiming your life
yes,
on your terms and having to come to terms with so many big, deep, heavy things. You still manage to reclaim yourself and like come out stronger because of it. And
yeah.
that's so incredible.
I mean, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so much work. But I don't know, my friend that's a psychic, she was always telling me that like I would just, even before I was ready financially, I would have adventures and have like this Gatsby life, but functional, not dysfunctional, you know, and like it's true. Like since I've been here, like I'm still I do energy work for a business, which makes means I can make rent and stuff, but I don't, you're not
Yeah.
rich when you're a Reiki master for a job, And
Yeah.
but I've been to Japan. I like I've
Mm,
had like, you know, gone to big 3-day house parties at mansions. I've like done like the Gatsby is stuff that you can do. And I just
yeah.
have like, I don't know what it is, but just like being free to be human and having this human experience and outside of like high demand religion is just so delicious. Like it's like a
Mhm.
spiritual practice for me almost to not be spiritual, if that makes sense, to be able to like just dive into my humanness. It's just so delicious, and it's definitely what I needed for my reclamation. That's still ongoing and still happening now.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
incredible.
So
Thank you for sharing
no,
that.
I live in my little 1-bedroom apartment by myself with my cat, and I have a boyfriend, and I just have friends and community and live a nice quiet life, and I enjoy it. So
That is amazing. Like you have come so far in your reclamation stage, and you have been through some absolutely horrible things, and it's amazing
mm.
to see your journey and hear your journey and just how far you've come. And I'm so grateful I get to know you. I've been
Oh,
able to
thank
be a part of
you.
your journey, like not that big, hard, scary stuff, but just to be here with you now. I'm so grateful that we are able to do this here together.
Oh, I feel the same about you. It's like amazing to watch all this stuff, and I'm just super grateful. So yeah. So let's hear about yours. How did yours go?
So my reclamation really started with Persephone. I feel like she was a big part. You were a big part of this in my journey.
Oh, I'm so glad.
After, yes, and I am too. Like I know I would not be where I'm at today in my reclamation journey if it
Oh,
wasn't for you. There was those like few years in between, like here and when I lost my nephew, where life was just like I don't know what's going on. There was the global pandemic that didn't help. It just made me rethink a lot of things in my life journey. And at the time, I was living in Utah, and I never wanted to settle in Utah. Um, and I'd been at the same job for about like 14 years or so. And I was with the pandemic and everything working in science, where a lot of our job involved like having to drop everything and focus on stuff related to COVID. I was burned out. And in the summer of 2022, I took off some time for mental health. I was just burned out um, so bad. And I know like there's a lot of
oh,
past trauma that I hadn't healed, and that kind of played into it. But um, there was that need to just kind of take some time and focus on me. And it was the smartest thing I could have done. I started working with Persephone regularly. We were doing Reiki sessions, and that really like kind of got me interested in my own spirituality and that healing on a deeper level that I needed. And after that summer, I thought about it, and I became certified in Reiki through Persephone in January 2023. And that was just like another big step in my reclaiming my spirituality and reclaiming my power. Just kind of learning to work with that energy and use it for healing. It was so needed. I bought my first tarot deck in March 2023.
oh,
Um,
I love that.
and yeah, it was just such those profound steps that I needed to kind of reevaluate my life and what I needed to be, what I needed to do and where I needed to be, and just all of those big questions that are so hard to answer. So in January 2023, I ended up getting promoted to a management position at my job. And I let them know up front, like, I don't know what the next 6 to 12 months are going to be like for me. I just feel like I'm kind of in this big life, this shift in my life right now. And in August 2023, I kind of that was when I made a decision. My lease was going to be up in February 2024. And I'm like, okay, this is it. I don't want to stay in Utah. I'm getting out. So August 2023, I told my managers at work, like, my lease is coming due next year in February. I'm putting in my notice for like January. I still don't have all the details worked out, but I'm just letting you know that I will be leaving in January next year. So it was like plenty of notice. And that was like such a big, hard, scary step to take, because I'd been like, I was comfortable, and it's easy to get comfortable and stay there, even though it's not like fulfilling and satisfying you. Comfort is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this was like a big, huge, scary step that I took to reclaim my power and reclaim those aspects of my life that I needed. So in February 2024, I moved to Portland, and it has just been like magical. It has been exactly what I've needed. I don't have everything figured out. Like, my life is still very much in flux right now, but there have been moments where I just go outside and I look up to the sky in gratitude, and I just have gratitude in my heart that I have come this far in my journey. Like, I never wanted to stay in Utah, and I've made it out. And to me, that has just been like so big, and amazing for me.
I think that is amazing. Also, have you always lived like in the little Mormon belt your whole life, haven't you?
For the most part, yeah.
So,
My junior year in high school, I lived in England. So my brother was in the Air Force, and I was able to go live with him and his family and go to school on the Air Force base. And like, that was a very profound experience too. That definitely like kind of opened my eyes back in my like restless slumber. I think that kind of added more restlessness to my slumber, because it was getting out of that bubble and seeing this big, huge world. And that there's so much more than this area that I was raised in, and this culture that I was raised in.
I
But
love
yeah,
that.
for the most part, yeah.
But I think that's like extra profound too, because like you were living in a place where your ancestors are from, like where your roots was from, like every single thing was from. Like, that's like a big thing to just pick up and move by yourself all the way across the country like that, away from all of that. That's just, that is big. And like, I freaking love seeing how you're doing there. Like, it just seems like, I know it's not always easy. I know there's like unanswered questions and stuff, but like, you just are doing so amazing, and just like seeming to like take advantage of every single opportunity and thing that's coming your way in like the best way. So it's been like fun to watch it.
Well, thank you. That is sweet. It's I really kind of moved without like much of a plan. I had an Airbnb set up to stay in for the first couple months. Didn't have a job set up. I'm like, I'll figure that out there. I want to do some sort of healing business. I want to get a business going. And so I knew that part would probably have to wait until I got here. So like the first several months, it was me living on savings, but it was also like a lot of free time and a lot of time to heal, a lot of time to get to know Portland and go around to different shops. That was one thing I did when I first started, or when I first moved here, was I started going to different like spiritual shops, and just I've met so many amazing people, made so many wonderful friends, and been able to just do these events, these spiritual events and these healing events that I have needed for my soul to just get into my next space and the next steps of my journey.
That's so beautiful. I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh. And like, I feel like the next steps in all of this, whatever is after reclamation, I don't know what it is. And I feel like I have a hard time conceptualizing it. Because I feel like all this time, how do I say this? I don't know. It feels like the starter life almost in some ways.
Yeah.
Like back when I was in my marriage, I divorced 2 years after my faith shift started. So like a lot of people get divorced when they faith shift because your marriage is based on the church, or you know what I mean? And
yeah,
there was like definitely reasons, but definitely don't want to talk about that now. But when I was in that marriage, I remember like really not being happy at all and being really lonely and wanting out but couldn't get out. And one day I like made a little secret Pinterest board that no one could see because you can make them private. And I just put like this little house in Kentucky, like where I was from, and just like I was like, I could move there and I could just get a job at Whole Foods down the street and I could just like plant a little garden and I could, just like this little fantasy, like little escape route that I thought would never happen. And like every single thing I put on that board, I've gotten and better, and you know what I mean? But like I feel like
Yeah,
that's where I am, is like all of those goals, all of those things I wanted, I've got. So what is after that little starter, I'm free survival life?
yeah.
So that's what I wonder about that. So like stage
That is a
3
good
is like
question.
getting there, but I don't know what's after that.
I like, yeah, you saying that, like, I feel like for me, and maybe this is something you could relate to, but getting to a point where I just feel more comfortable in life. Like, I
Yes.
know I feel like the universe is supporting me right now, but I definitely feel like stuff is very much up in the air. So like
Yes.
for me, that would look like having, permanent housing. It would be having that financial stability.
Mhm.
Um, but having that in a place where I want to be, and in a place that
Yes.
like resonates with my soul, and where like this is where I need to be. And
Definitely me too.
yeah,
Definitely me too. I think the money is probably the biggest one, is just like feeling like I have what I need all the way and want all the way too, and just like what that feels like. So I don't know.
yeah,
It's interesting.
it
And
is.
also, I would just like, to the people that are watching, I think you guys are going to watch Jenny and I go on a journey here. So
Absolutely.
where's it going to go? I don't know. And if you see this, maybe there'll be 20 more, 30 more episodes, or maybe not. I don't know. But I'm curious where we're both going to head, because I feel like um we've gone through several of these steps together, and I'm just curious where like the next ones are going to take us, because a lot of these we never really expected, you know?
Yeah.
Probably none
Hmm.
of these we expected, actually.
Nope. Nope. As like a little
So,
girl or a teenager, I never thought I'd be where
mhm,
I'm at in life right now. But I'm grateful to be where I'm at. And
yes. And
yeah.
I feel like being in Houston is a great place for me to do reclamation, because I remember like the first time I ever knew who I was, the first time I ever really saw myself for who I am. I was sleeping over at my friend Laura's house, the one that I moved to like after Peter passed away. But we were 15 years old at the time, and she was trying to get me into the Beatles, and I was like, oh, not my place, boy bands, blah blah. But then I like she played me I'm the Walrus, and I'm like, oh my god, music can be like this, like one of those like epiphany moments. This is amazing. So I went to her house and we watched Beatle movies all night. And I remember like the next day looking at myself in her bathroom mirror and thinking like, I'm an artist. I don't even know what
Mhm.
kind of artist, but like I feel like I really saw myself for the first time, and I was so excited about it. And I was like, when my dad picks me up, I'll ask him to like take me to the store and get some notebooks for me. Maybe I'm a writer, maybe I'm a musician, maybe I don't know. Like I'm excited to see what this is. And
Yeah.
so I did, like he picked me up and I was like, I'm an artist. Can I get some notebooks? And like it went so bad. Like it was so they were not cool with that at all, at all. But I can't help
Oh,
being who I am. So I was just who I was anyway. So I like lived a little artist life here as a teenager. And um I just wanted to live the way I'm living now. What I really wanted to do was do exactly what I'm doing now, live exactly as I'm living now. But I just knew it was never a possibility because I was Mormon and stuff. So I often have moments since I moved back 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years ago this coming week.
wow.
Um, where I'm just walking around thinking, oh my God, teenage Persephone wanted this for me, and now I'm doing it for her,
There
or
you are.
like,
There you are.
so it feels like very full circle and very reclamation here for me. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I totally relate to that. Like with my job in Utah, um, my last day on the job was like the anniversary of my starting day. So like that was something that
Really?
felt, yeah, very full circle to me. It was just like, that is really cool. Like that to me just felt like it was meant to be, that it was
Yes.
the anniversary. So I get that, like how something can feel so full circle just through the space of time, and you're
Mhm.
there for what you need to be, and those ebbs and flows, and you end up on the path where you want to head.
Yep. Yep. I don't know. It's like, and all of it, I would say, is unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I moved here, I said I was going to just live here till I was on my feet. Then I would move a good place because Texas is a dumb place. But now I like love it here, and it's good, and it works for me. And you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so who knew? Yeah.
Who? Yeah. Mm,
Man.
that's
Woo.
amazing. Well, I feel like we have covered a lot. Oh my goodness, these have been some really good discussions, and
Yes.
yeah,
We're gonna need a nap after this, Jenny.
yeah. I know
It's a
it. I
lot
might have
of
to
big
head
stuff.
to bed early.
Yes.
Oh,
Aw. So, I'm grateful that all of you guys could be here with us. So feel free to subscribe and follow, and we'd love to hear your comments. We'd love to hear how you feel about this and learn about your own journeys and what you'd like to hear from us too. So thank you for listening and being here with
yes.
us.
Thank you for being here with us and your presence. And until next time,
Stay
stay
magical.
magical. Bye.
Okay, bye.